But first, let's take a look outside. Perfect weather for the Ducks, right?
They're loving it.
They are loving it. And a stormy evening, perhaps. Aaron White's in the backyard with more on that. Aaron.
Yeah, we're definitely looking at some storms coming in later on this evening, but for right now, we have a fairly steady drizzle coming down, so rather gloomy outside, and that's going to be the trend for at least the next couple of hours. But we are seeing a warm front building to the north, and that's actually going to bring in some warmer temperatures, but also that threat for some thunderstorms going towards later this evening. We do have a couple of thunderstorms due to the north of the area. All of that activity is pushing off to the north and east, and also some snow that's been falling across northern Wisconsin into the UP of Michigan up into parts of Minnesota. That is all staying to the north of our area, but watch what's happening into Iowa. There are a few showers building up around Waterloo, so it's going to be rather rainy for the rest of the evening. We already had some impressive rainfall totals, over 1 inch around Platteville, Monroe, Mineral Point, just under an inch around Lone Rock, Madison, and Janesville. And again, we are tracking more rain and even thunderstorms coming in later on this evening. Live look over Madison showing the cloud cover and the drizzle. There is some patchy, dense fog developing. Visibility down to a quarter mile in Monroe, down to 0 in Dubuque, and temperatures are chilly into the 40s. 54 though in Janesville. That is a sign of that warm front building in. Look at those temperatures down to the south in Illinois. 80 in Moline, 81 in Peru. So that, as that warm front builds to the north, that's going to set the stage for some storms later on this evening, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. In terms of our traffic, though, the conditions are pretty good. There is some ponding on the roadways in a few spots, so just keep that in mind as you are heading out and about. And otherwise, things are going to be in a pretty good shape for the rest of the evening, at least until those storms build in. And that is a look at your first warn traffic.
All right, Aaron, we'll check back in a few minutes. Thank you. Police in Sauk County still have not named a suspect in a homicide that happened last week at Devil's Lake State Park.
Today, they're asking you for any information that can point them toward the killer. Adam Duxter asked the lieutenant in charge about the case today, and he joins us live from the Sauk County Sheriff's Office with the latest. Adam?
Well, it's been 8 days now since police found 24-year-old John Schmutzer dead along the Grottoes Trail at Devil's Lake State Park. And they say despite leading an around-the-clock investigation since then, they still do not have any concrete information that they can share with us today. Now, Lieutenant Chris Zunker says the Sauk County Sheriff's Office is now sorting through more than 80 credible tips and trying to gather video from businesses Schmutzer visited leading up to his death. Now, Zunker says his entire team of detectives is currently on the case, but is asking for more information from anyone who might have it to try and figure out what might have happened that day.
Any information that the public feels might be relevant. If they were on the south shore of Devil's Lake in the morning last Wednesday and thinks that they saw something that might be relevant to this case or this investigation, if they know our victim and have any information that may be relevant to the investigation, we would love to hear from those folks.
Wisconsin DNR says there are not security cameras at the South Shore entrance near where Schmutzer was found. And on the day Schmutzer was killed, there was no staff member working that gate. Now, anyone with information is asked to call the Sauk County Tips line. We've got that number on our website, channel3000.com. But for now, Lieutenant Zunker says if you are visiting Devil's Lake State Park, to be cautious and aware of your surroundings.
Adam Duxter reporting live. Adam, thank you. With only 12 days to go until Election Day, the presidential candidates are in Nashville, Tennessee to square off on the debate stage one last time.
The Commission on Presidential Debates has instituted new procedures for tonight, including a mute button to ensure a smoother event despite pushback from the president's campaign. The debate topics were chosen by the moderator, NBC's Christian Walker, and they cover a range of issues. The candidates are taking the stage tonight as millions of Americans have already cast their ballots, including in Tennessee, where there's been a record turnout since early voting began last week.
I've already voted.
People have a problem with his tone. I don't.
Tonight's debate will be broadcast here on WISC TV at 8 o'clock. We'll have a complete recap, that is, tonight on News 3 Now at 10.
In a rare, hastily called news conference last night, U.S. officials described emails threatening people unless they voted for President Trump. The Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, says both Iran and Russia obtained voter registration information thought to include party affiliations and home addresses. But he singled out out Iran for taking the next step. Ratcliffe, a former Republican congressman and Trump loyalist, didn't say what information the emails contained. Officials familiar with the matter say they were sent to registered voters in multiple battleground states. But it's not just Iran and Russia that you need to worry about.
There are social media posts and political ads spreading right here in the U.S. that aim to change the way you vote. News 3 Now's investigative reporter Naomi Coles joins us to explain. Naomi?
We've seen this in Wisconsin over and over again in recent weeks. Whether it's Facebook restricting local Republican Party pages over flagged misinformation, or the liberal activist whose photo of post office boxes in Wisconsin took off before a fact check could rein it in. This type of misinformation can have a big impact in swing states like Wisconsin. And while Facebook and Twitter are cracking down on certain types, there is still a long ways to go.
Kinds of misinformation where flat out lies are told about candidates and the like are less likely to get flagged, and social media companies are frankly less likely to follow their own policies about the policing of those because I think they don't want to be called biased.
UW-Madison professor Mike Wagner recently completed a study with a graduate student digging into who is most likely to fall for misinformation. We'll be talking about that more at 6 o'clock and sharing ways you can protect yourself online during this election.
Naomi, thank you. We'll see you at 6 o'clock. President Trump is coming back to Wisconsin. He'll be in Waukesha on Saturday. Right now, he's in a dust-up with CBS News correspondent Leslie Stahl after a confrontational interview for an upcoming segment on 60 Minutes.
In an unprecedented move, the White House released the interview ahead of Sunday's show. Chris Van Cleve reports.
President Trump cut short Tuesday's interview with 60 Minutes correspondent Leslie Stahl at the White House. It was Stahl's third interview with the president and included tense moments.
The biggest scandal was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes. And we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on.
From there, the discussion grew more contentious. President Trump threatened to post the entire interview before its Sunday air date. Thursday, the White House did exactly that. CBS News responded with a statement saying the White House's unprecedented decision to disregard their agreement with CBS News and release their footage will not deter 60 Minutes from providing its full, fair, and contextual reporting, which presidents have participated in for decades. A senior White House official tells CBS News the president thought the interview was unfair and wanted to make it public. 60 Minutes released its own excerpts, showing the president's growing irritation at being pressed for answers.
I tell people to wear
But you
masks.
don't.
Leslie, we hand out thousands of masks.
But you
at
look
every
out and they're
rally.
not wearing them. And you don't say, please put on your
Why?
mask.
60 Minutes says the interview with President Trump and another with former Vice President Joe Biden will air as planned this Sunday. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington.
And you can watch 60 Minutes right here on WISC TV on Sunday. It airs right after the NFL on CBS. The White House is trying to tout the efforts of President Trump on the economy.
A top White House trade advisor spoke with News 3 Now earlier today about how the president's policies have helped Wisconsinites. Eric Franke joins us with more details on that. Eric?
Clearly, the White House, Mark and Susan, in Wisconsin and other battleground states wants the discussion to be steered back to the economy and away from the federal COVID response, which has devastated the economy. One big issue lately Democrats have attacked is the changes in the massive Foxconn deal in southeastern Wisconsin. The state declining tax credits to Foxconn for work done in 2019 recently. The president's chief trade advisor, Dr. Peter Navarro, tells us it's Democrats politicizing Foxconn and blames the pandemic for a slowdown on the Racine County project.
I can tell you, I've worked very closely with the folks at Foxconn. They're building stuff and they're getting stuff done. So don't listen to that propaganda from the Democrats 10 days before an election.
Dr. Navarro says the plant has been used to make ventilators and masks, but Foxconn was falling well short of its initial promises well before the pandemic. The original goal, 13,000 jobs in exchange for $4 billion in state tax credits. Dr. Navarro today called Foxconn a success to us, citing 600 permanent Wisconsin employees. He touted the USMCA trade deal as well, saying it'll help Wisconsin's automotive, dairy, and paper industries, and criticized Joe Biden for supporting NAFTA 26 years ago, which had bipartisan support at the time, including from those still serving in the Senate today. today, like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Back then, Wisconsin Senators Cole and Feingold voted against it. Susan?
Eric, thank you. Switching to coronavirus news now, 3,000 more people have been notified that they have COVID-19. That brings the statewide total to more than 186,000 cases. 17 more people across the state have died due to the virus since March. More than 1,700 people have died in Wisconsin from complications related to the virus. The race to develop a vaccine took center stage at an FDA public meeting today. The CDC recently changed its close contact definition to include being with an infected person for 15 minutes total during a 24-hour period, not just 15 consecutive minutes. Nearly 8 months into the pandemic, a panel of experts advised the FDA virtually for the first time today to talk about what is being developed. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar says hope is on the way in a matter of weeks or months.
We believe by the end of this year, we would have enough FDA-authorized vaccine to vaccinate our most vulnerable people by the end of January.
Secretary Azar estimates a vaccine will be available for all Americans by next spring.
Well, still to come at 4, they are meeting for one last time. Nashville is the site for tonight's presidential debate.
We'll find out what's at stake for both candidates and the road ahead when Live at 4 continues.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
If you elect me, your taxes are going to be raised, not cut.
What does that mean for you? Household incomes down $6,500 a year. Higher gas prices at the pump and utility bills at home.
And here's how it works. I'm going to raise taxes.
Small businesses pay more. 5 million jobs lost.
You're going to get a tax raise.
An economy in ruins. That's what Joe Biden's tax increase means for you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Real customers are experiencing a real difference with Spectrum Internet and TV.
The speed is insane. It's always right there. Just boom.
It was easy to connect all of my devices, and I was able to find a plan that was affordable for me.
I'm saving money, and I'm even getting more speed.
Get the speed you need to do all the things you love on all your devices with Spectrum Internet, delivering the fastest starting speeds for the price. 200 megabits. Switch now for $44.99 a month. Call 833-918-4499.
With Spectrum TV, the picture quality is incredible. I feel like I'm in the movie.
The amount of stuff available on Spectrum On Demand is just never ending.
Add Spectrum TV and enjoy more free HD and more free on demand. Plus, use the Spectrum TV app to watch live TV on the go. All from $44.99 a month. Call 833-918-4499.
Spectrum gives me the best deal no matter what.
Every day I'm saving money.
Get Spectrum Internet and TV from $44.99 a month each with no contracts. Ask about our easy self-install options to install your new services yourself. Call 833-918-4499.
Because of this, we built the most powerful Ford Explorer ever. Because of this, we built Ford Expedition with best-in-class towing. Because of this, we built Escape with Ford Copilot 360. And because Ford SUVs are built for this, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. Choose FlexBuy on Explorer and get 0 for 66 financing plus $2,500 FlexBuy cash and $1,000 retail trade assist cash.
It's called the greater good. At Quartz, it's what fuels our passion to better serve our members and our community. It's why we ensure easy access to the doctors, hospitals, and clinics of UW Health. It's what pushes us to invest in the name of community health and wellness programs and to find new ways to help those who need the help the most. But hey, you know all about the greater good. Quartz, health plans built with you in mind.
Hey, Madison voters, don't let the pandemic suppress your vote. Create your safe voting plan now. You have options. Visit cityofmadison.com/clerk to create your safe voting plan today. Brought to you by the Madison City Clerk's Office.
Well, stocks pushed higher today after Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi hinted of a possible stimulus deal before Election Day. The Dow Industrials added 152 points, closing at 28,363. The Nasdaq gained 21. The S&P 500 up almost 18. Well, as we mentioned, tonight is the final debate between President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden.
The debate features new rules and one of the last chances the candidates have to pitch their platform to voters. Earlier today, we spoke with Beloit College political science professor Philip Chen and asked him how important tonight's debate is.
Well, you know, it's funny because debates are important in the sense that they set the tone for the campaign. But when it comes to actually influencing votes, we don't see a lot of evidence that debates make a difference in persuading people. So this debate, I think, will have a lot of influence on the media and how the media covers the campaign in the final, week and a half. But it's unlikely to make a major difference as far as how people actually vote.
This is the last opportunity the candidates will have to speak to voters before Election Day. So what's at stake for President Trump and Joe Biden? What do they have to do?
So I think President Trump needs to change the narrative. He's behind in most of the polls that we see in both state polls and national polls. And so he needs to change the narrative, the media narrative, to get his base a little bit more energized. We've seen sort of what we would call a base strategy from President Trump, largely appealing to his core Republican voters. I think he probably needs to try to expand that to present a different image. The first debate was not a particularly well-received debate from President Trump. So I think that expanding that base, expanding the appeal of who he's talking to will be important. For Vice President Biden, former Vice President Biden is in the lead, right? If we believe the polls, if we look at the polling of the state polling, what he needs to do is stay the course, continue to stay on message, stay on a message of coronavirus relief, the pandemic, and keep up with the messaging that he has been doing, because it's been working for him. So I think more is at stake for President Trump in trying to alter the narrative, whereas former Vice President Biden really just needs to sort of stay the course.
They're going to use a mute button for the opening statements for each category. Do you think this is going to work?
I think, I've been saying this a lot. I think the mute button is an interesting idea, but the problem is it doesn't mute the button for the other candidate, or it doesn't mute the voice for the other candidate.
Right.
So while it's important, I think, for people to be able to hear the other candidate or the candidate who's speaking, it actually might make it seem more awkward for the viewers, because when one candidate is speaking, if the other candidate is interrupting, they're naturally going to interrupt their speech pattern. They're naturally going to want to sort of pause when being interrupted, even though the people at home might not be able to hear them. So I think it may make for sort of a stilted or halted appearance to the debate, assuming that the candidates continue to interrupt. It's also possible that having a mute button will mean that they simply don't try to interrupt as much, in which case we probably won't see nearly the effect on the presentation.
It could potentially raise a fairness question. Do you think that it might put more pressure on the moderator to be careful with the mute button?
Yes. So I think that's the real question, is that, and again, it's a fairness question, but it's also a perception of fairness question, right? Both campaigns are going to, if they feel like they have a political stance to gain, they're going to try to spin it as, well, it was unfair, right? It was an unfair use of the mute button. It was unfair to stop me from talking when I had a valid rebuttal, or the moderator was unfairly biased against me and not the other candidate. So I think while it probably won't be truly a question of fairness from the moderator, I think the campaign that feels that it would benefit them the most, and that might be President Trump's campaign based on performance in the first debate. We might see President Trump's campaign try to spin it as a bias against him from the moderator. Absolutely.
As we come down to the wire, how important is Wisconsin in all of this?
Wisconsin's very important. I mean, we're talking, when we look at the potential, what we call tipping point states, states that are likely to deliver the important electoral college votes. Wisconsin is one of the sort of top 2 or 3 tipping point states, right after Pennsylvania. So Wisconsin is very important for both the Biden or the Trump campaigns. Both would really like to have Wisconsin. It's not, it's interesting in that with only 10 electoral college votes, it's important. It can deliver those votes over the top, but it's not necessarily a must win. That there's other paths to victory for both the Biden and the Trump campaigns. But you're going to see a lot of focus on Wisconsin. Wisconsin is very, very important coming up.
Interesting. Week and a half coming up.
Here we go.
Philip, thanks for being with us today. Great to see you. Great insights.
Philip, thank you so much for your time. Good to see you. We'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you.
We'll be right back.
Early voting is open in Wisconsin. You can same-day register and vote at an early voting site near you. Bring your photo ID when you go. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto is a heart failure medicine prescribed by most cardiologists. It was proven superior at helping people stay alive and out of the hospital. Heart failure can change the structure of your heart, so it may not work as well. Entresto helps improve your heart's ability to pump blood to the body. And with a healthier heart, there's no telling where life may take you. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto for heart failure. And trust your heart to Entresto.
I can't believe it.
What? That our new house is haunted by Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Hey, Jill. Hey, Kurt. Movies? I'll get snacks.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on our car insurance with Geico.
I got snacks. Ooh, I got popcorn. I got caramel corn. I got kettle corn. Right. Oh, am I so too loud?
Believe it, Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
We aren't radical, so why would we want one representing us in Madison? Chris Marion is an extreme partisan liberal who's just fine with calling political opponents Nazis, dictators, and enemies. And Chris Marion wants to take more of your paycheck, too. Marion supports eliminating levy limits, causing property taxes to skyrocket, crushing families as they try to recover. And Marion backs the radical Green New Deal that will cost trillions, destroy jobs, and increase taxes. Chris Marion, just too radical.
The Social Security Administration just released a report saying that if a plan like the one Trump is proposing goes into effect, the Social Security Trust Fund would be, and I quote, permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023. Put it plainly, Trump's plan would wipe out Social Security. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Early voting is open in Wisconsin. You can same-day register and vote at an early voting site near you. Bring your photo ID when you go. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Well, take a look at this. At first, it was just a normal day on the interstate. Then there's smoke, sparks. Now it's clear the truck is no longer in control of the trailer. It goes into the driver's lane, then off the side of the road, kicking up lots of dirt before it comes to a halt. The dashcam owner says a bad dip in the road caused the trailer to snap from the truck's hitch.
That is every driver's worst nightmare.
Where's the safety chain? You're supposed to have a chain just in case this happens.
Oh, luckily nobody was hurt, because what do you do? That makes the hair on my neck stand up.
All right, don't follow too close, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when, just kind of something crazy like that happens. It's just, what do you do?
Yeah, that's right. And with wet roads, it doesn't help.
Yeah, it definitely does not. And we're going to see some wet roads over the next 24 hours. So we have more rain in the forecast for tonight. I'll have that full forecast after the break.
Oh, look at that shot.
A little gloomy.
Election season is here. Remember, who you vote for is secret, but whether you vote is public information. Your friends, family, and neighbors can look up your voting record. This year, Whether by mail, early, or on November 3rd, be sure to make a plan to vote. And after the election, your voting record will be updated based on your participation on November 3rd. So vote on or by November 3rd.
We took a bad economy that was falling and turned it around. Trump took a good economy and drove it back into the ditch through his failure to get COVID under control, his failure to deliver real relief to working people. Does he not understand and see the tens of millions of people who've had to file for unemployment this year so far? The people who lost wages while the cost of groceries have gone up dramatically? Donald Trump has been almost singularly focused on the stock market, the Dow and NASDAQ. Not you, not your families. My plan will help create at least 5 million new, good-paying jobs and create them right here in the United States of America. Let's use this opportunity to take bold investments in American industry and innovation so that the future is made in America. I'll be laser focused on working families. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Getting your air ducts thoroughly cleaned takes the trained professionals at Stanley Steamer using the most powerful equipment to get the most powerful results. Our equipment goes deep inside your ducts, removing years of dirt, pet hair, allergens, even dust mites. Unlike other air duct cleaning companies, Stanley Steamer cleans your entire system. Just look at how much dirt can be removed. Call today for a free inspection and save $50 on a cleaning.
Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
We drive everywhere to help our son reach his dream of becoming an elite swimmer. So we enrolled in the Know Your Drive program with American Family Insurance. It gives us discounts for safe driving and other benefits, like emergency roadside service, which comes in handy, no matter where his dreams take him. With Know Your Drive, save up to 20% and get closer to your dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Welcome back on this rather gloomy Thursday as we've seen a lot of clouds in place. We've had some drizzle this afternoon after all the rain we had earlier. The last 24 hours has been a lot of rain. Many areas had over 1 inch of rainfall in the last 24 hours, and more is coming our way for the rest of this evening and into tonight, as we may see even some thunderstorms into the picture. Right now, 46 degrees in Madison. We have the drizzle falling. That's going to be the trend. Temperatures are into the 40s, and we have 54 degrees in Janesville, 49 in Monroe. Bit colder to the north as we have been stuck into the 30s around Camp Douglas. There is a little bit of a patchy, dense fog developing as well around Monroe. Quarter-mile visibility, even lower around Dubuque. Now, we are mostly dry right now. We're starting to see some more scattered showers developing around Platteville, down towards portions of Iowa, and that is a sign of where we're going to see the development of some thunderstorms later on this evening, probably here in the next couple of hours or so. All of this is moving off to the north and east. You can see those scattered showers developing here in the last hour across Iowa, and those are going to be building in. All of this is actually basically developing along a warm front. There is an area of low pressure developing in Iowa. That is going to be the focal point for the thunderstorm development here in the next couple of hours. But look at those temperatures already at 80 degrees in parts of Illinois, while most of Wisconsin has been stuck into the 30s and 40s. So going through this evening, we'll have to watch for that line of thunderstorms to develop here around 8:30, moving through Boscobel, Lone Rock, eventually pushing into Madison. All of this is going to be moving to the east going through the rest of tonight. So by Friday morning, looking mostly dry, maybe a couple sprinkles, but otherwise rainfall amounts likely to be over 1 inch for some areas as that line of thunderstorms develops. And with that, there is a marginal risk we could see a couple stronger thunderstorms, really just looking at some strong wind gusts, but otherwise more rainfall. That's going to be the better bet for tonight. So our low tonight, 41 degrees. We will see the wind switching to the northwest about 8 to 15 miles per hour. And then for the day tomorrow, 44 degrees, your high on Friday. Maybe some clearing as we head towards the end of the day, but otherwise it's going to be a chilly weekend, highs into the lower 40s on Saturday and Sunday. A little breezy on Sunday as well, with some snow mixing in towards the night, Sunday night into Monday. And then otherwise, our highs only into the upper 30s by Monday and Tuesday. A little bit better as we head into Halloween weekend. Otherwise, just got to say, rather chilly forecast coming our way after today.
Yikes.
So get ready for it. And we're talking about the chance for some snow mixing in on Sunday into Monday, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Maybe some minor accumulations to the north of Madison.
Thunderstorms tonight, snow maybe over the weekend.
Yeah, that's Wisconsin.
That's right.
In October.
All right, thanks, Aaron.
CBS News is introducing you to a 12-year-old girl who composed a piece of music for some of the world's most talented classical musicians.
Nancy Chen shows us how she wants to inspire more diversity among composers by hitting the road with the New York Philharmonic's Bandwagon Concert Series.
In the shadow of the Brooklyn Bridge, musicians from the New York Philharmonic are performing a world premiere. It's an important first for the piece's composer, 12-year-old Grace Moore. While the young composer is still getting used to the spotlight, she and her mother Clara met me at the world-renowned Lincoln Center. For decades, musicians have been coming here to take center stage.
What goes into composing a piece of music? Where do you even start?
Well, you start by creating, I guess, a catchy bunch of notes. And then you just add on to those notes.
Okay, sorry, 1 second.
After you repeat, can you play it a little faster?
The Brooklyn 7th grader is part of the Philharmonic's Very Young Composers, a program that teaches children how to create music. Philharmonic President Deborah Borda says it's all part of a mission to expose classical music to new audiences and creators.
It is critical that symphony orchestras, which frankly have been seen as a sort of elite bastion, a very white bastion, that we begin to live in the 21st century, that we invite in people of color of all different kinds.
And we have the composer here with us, Grace Moore.
She was very excited about the fact that she could represent as a black female composer and also such a young person.
Well, I guess I could attract more of a different kind of viewer. I haven't really seen many people who look like me on stage.
Partnering with Metropolitan Opera star Anthony Roth Costanzo, Philharmonic musicians perform pop-up concerts out of a rented pickup truck.
Sometimes there'll be a fire or a garbage truck is blocking where we were going to play.
It's New York.
It's New York.
World-class players used to performing in architecturally stunning and pin-drop quiet symphony halls are instead playing to the soundtrack of the streets of New York, sharing music in neighborhoods all over the city in rain or shine. The surprise concerts have hit a high note with audiences.
Everyone listening to live music kind of felt like the community coming together.
And for the admittedly shy composer, sharing her music has allowed her to feel heard in more ways than one.
Music is universal. It doesn't matter where you are or where you're from or what language you speak. Everyone can understand it.
Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Grace Moore, everyone.
Unbelievable.
She is incredible. What a pioneer.
Start with a few catchy notes and go from there.
Unbelievable. Wow, that's incredible.
Well, there's more to come at 4. Dr. Zorba Pastor will join us next with an update on the pandemic.
And we'll be taking your calls tonight as well. And then tonight at 5, political reporter Amy Reed breaks down a political ad from President Trump in another reality check. That's coming up at 5.
Got the lowest prices of the season now at Ashley Home Store. Clearance and floor sample furniture is 50% off or more. Plus, take a bonus 5% off our sale prices, including clearance. And interest-free financing for up to 4 years. Only at Ashley Home Store.
Here's how my plan works. Anyone making less than $400,000 a year won't pay a penny more. But I'm going to ask the very big corporations to pay their fair share. We're going to invest in creating millions of good-paying jobs. We're going to ease the burden of the major costs in your life. drive health care. We're going to protect Social Security, increase the benefits for millions of seniors. When I announced I was running, I said that's the reason, to rebuild the backbone of this country. Hard-working folks in the middle class. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
He's erratic.
I have 5 different strategies I could change any moment.
Refuses to lead.
I don't take responsibility at all.
Or rely on experts.
One day it's like a miracle, it will disappear.
Enough.
As president, I'll make you a promise. I'll protect America. I will defend us from every attack, seen and unseen, always, without exception, every time.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Joint pain, swelling, tenderness.
My psoriasis. Cosentix works on all of this.
Cosentix can help you look and feel better by treating the multiple symptoms of psoriatic arthritis. Don't use if you're allergic to Cosentix. Before starting, get checked for tuberculosis. An increased risk of infections and lowered ability to fight them may occur. Tell your doctor about an infection or symptoms. If your inflammatory bowel disease symptoms develop or worsen, or if you've had a vaccine or plan to, serious allergic reactions may occur.
Watch me.
Get real relief with Cosentix.
Attention, fellow seniors. This election will determine your Medicare benefits. Under President Trump, Medicare premiums in Wisconsin have gone down 21%. But with the Biden-Harris healthcare plan, Medicare will change. Private insurance eliminated. Hospitals closed. You could even lose your doctor. Protect your Medicare coverage. Vote for President Trump. Learn more at seniorsbeware.com.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
It's the Quick Ship Mattress Sale of the Season at Ashley Home Store. Get your best night's sleep faster than any other store in Wisconsin and find unbeatable doorbusters like these. Plus, interest-free financing for up to 6 years while they last at Ashley Home Store.
Tonight at 5, a reality check on President Trump's claims that Joe Biden does not have a plan when it comes to the pandemic. We'll take a deeper look into that at 5.
This evening will be milder with showers and a few thunderstorms before a cold front moves through around midnight. Friday will be breezy and colder. My first warn forecast at 5.
And at 6, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office is asking the public for help in the case of a 24-year-old who was fatally stabbed at Devil's Lake last week.
There's a live look, a gloomy afternoon. It's a good day to curl up on the couch, put something in the crock pot.
Yeah, exactly.
Read a good book, one of those days. Well, Wisconsin, as you know, remains one of the country's coronavirus hotspots.
Hospitals are filling up and thousands more are infected every day. Here to talk about that and other coronavirus headlines, Dr. Zorba Pastor joining us from his office in Oregon. Thanks for being with us.
A pleasure.
We'll take some calls, too, coming up in the next segment. Let's start with a vaccine update. What is the challenge vaccine test that's being done in the UK and not here?
So the challenge vaccine, which is something that the FDA would never allow to be done here, is where you have a certain number of people and you give them the vaccine, and then after you give them the vaccine, you infect them with COVID. So in other words, these are volunteers, and believe it or not, there are many, many volunteers in the U.S. who are willing to do that, generally young people. I don't know about older people, but definitely younger people. And then you infect them with COVID and see what the results are. Now, from our point of view, there's something called an institutional review board, and this really is an ethics committee that overlooks all vaccine research, and that would never fly. I doubt if that would ever fly in the U.S. But in the UK, they're trying to do it. They haven't yet started it yet, but it looks like it's going to be done. And if so, it's going to add to whether or not the vaccines really do what they're supposed to do.
Well, that's encouraging to hear. Well, it was another day, more cases, more hospitalizations. And you know, Zorba, I have a lot of friends and family that live out of state, and they're always asking me, what is going on in Wisconsin? It's hard to answer that question. I mean, how would you answer that?
Right. I would answer that, and people are, well, I could answer it in a variety of ways that would not be able to be talked about on television, but we'll do it in ways that I could actually talk about it. People just are not stepping up to the plate. It's very unfortunate. They don't believe that there actually is a virus out there that they can get infected. They don't believe they really have to mask up. And I think to myself, you know, it's a public health issue, just like We don't urinate in the street. We urinate in a toilet. That took a while to actually develop. People used to spit on the street back in 1900. We don't spit anymore. And when they introduced spittoons, that was one thing. Then they got rid of it. When it comes from a public health point of view, we have failed in our state to actually step up to the plate and follow the science. The science says social distance, wash your hands, wear a mask. And once we do that, we'll begin to get it under control. And I'm afraid the powers to be, and these are politicians really, that simply do not understand the importance of science, are on one side, science is on the other side. And frankly, it's disappointing. I have a cousin from California who calls me up all the time. What's happening? My two daughters, two of our children live in Seattle, and they go, why is it a hotspot? And the answer is, we're not following the science.
But rates are going up in every state.
It's going up in every state, and it's going to go up more because in the wintertime, we're going to get closer and closer together. We may have had summer parties, but the reality is once we get inside, just like we spread influenza, rhinoviruses, coronavirus is also going to be spread. So the reality is we still have a way to get a handle on this. We can still step up to the plate and do the right thing. But the matter is to put politics aside and think about public health, because public health is really the only way we're going to get this under control, open the schools, and eventually open the restaurants, open the theaters and everything else. We've got to all work on it as a team, the Wisconsin team.
And get a flu shot.
And everyone should get a flu shot for sure. This year especially, because if you get influenza and you get coronavirus, it's not going to be a good thing.
Nope. All right, if you have a question for Dr. Zorba Pastor, call in now. 270-9933 is the number. We'll get to your questions right after this.
Early voting is open in Wisconsin. You can same-day register and vote at an early voting site near you. Bring your photo ID when you go. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I can't do another 4 years of this. I can't. There's never been more divisiveness in this country. It's frightening and sad. That was Trump's whole thing. You know, take the politics out of it and run it like one of his businesses. I know people were looking for that kind of change, but it's not working. You know, we've only gotten more in debt. We have this virus now out of control, people out of work, no health care. How is that helping people? We need someone that knows what they're doing, and I think it's Biden. I know he will listen to the experts. That's what we need. I trust him 100% to get this under control. He has the capability to bring us back together.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
We made USAA insurance for members like Martin, an Air Force veteran made of doing what's right, not what's easy. So when a hailstorm hit, USAA reached out before he could even inspect the damage.
That's how you do it right.
USAA insurance is made just the way Martin's family needs it. With hassle-free claims, he got paid before his neighbor even got started. Because doing right by our members, that's what's right. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. USAA.
I'm a mom, a grandma, and a business owner. Our family repaired 3 barns and a 100-year-old farmhouse for our small business. I was raised to believe in hard work and that a person's word is sacred. As your assemblywoman, I'll work hard for our small towns and family farms, to rebuild our schools and main streets, and be your fiscal watchdog to make sure our tax dollars come back to work for us here at home.
The Social Security Administration just released a report saying that if a plan like the one Trump is proposing goes into effect, the Social Security Trust Fund would be, and I quote, permanently depleted by the middle of calendar year 2023. Put it plainly, Trump's plan would wipe out Social Security. If I'm your president, we're going to protect Social Security and Medicare. You have my word. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Early voting is open in Wisconsin. You can same-day register and vote at an early voting site near you. Bring your photo ID when you go. The Democratic National Committee is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome back as we take a look at traffic this afternoon. Conditions are looking pretty good on the Beltline. No slowdowns at the moment. We may see a few as we get some of that rain building back into the area later on this evening. There are a few slowdowns right on McKee Road and 151, just right around the intersection there. Speeds are down about 10 miles per hour from their normal values. Also seeing a few slowdowns on East Wash, and as we head down to Janesville, things are looking pretty good on I-39 down that way. And if you are heading down towards Janesville, from the southbound Beltline should take you about 26 minutes. And that is a look at your first warn traffic.
All right, Aaron, thank you. There's a new business in Rio's Copacabana neighborhood that makes residents light up when they see it. It's a 1969 Volkswagen Beetle that's been lovingly converted into a Leah Beautiful Flower, a flower shop on wheels. The business owner treasures her time with flowers and helping people choose the right ones. She especially looks forward to seeing the elderly residents. She feels they need something beautiful to brighten their days during these dark times.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's time to get your coronavirus questions answered live.
The number to call if you have a question for Dr. Zorba Pastor is 270-9933. He joins us again. He's standing by at his clinic in Oregon. Let's get to the phones, and we'll start with Michelle in Janesville. Hi, Michelle. What's your question?
Hi, I'm just curious. I had an ostomy, a permanent ostomy put on back in January, and now with the COVID coming in, how much is my immune system compromised?
Well, first of all, if you had the surgery then, you recovered from the surgery then, your immune system really isn't compromised. It's probably pretty reasonably good because you recovered from the surgery. Now, on the other hand, every time you have a medical problem and you get sick with any infection, be it influenza or COVID-19, you're just at an increased risk. And so it's a matter of keeping yourself fit, eating right, exercising, doing all the right things. If you're on medications, keeping your blood pressure under control and so on. So the answer is probably okay, but you should be extra special. Wear that mask, wash your hands, socially distance, stay attentive.
Just like everybody else.
Right.
All right, let's go to Kathy in South Beloit. Hi, Kathy. What's your question?
Hi, my question's about eyeglasses that we wear. First part of the question is the mucous membrane of our eyes can it be impacted by the virus if we don't wear the glasses versus wearing the glasses? And the second part of the question regarding eyeglasses is, can our eyes be protected if we wear the eyeglasses? And I'll take the question off the air. Thanks much.
Thanks for calling.
You know, when we first started, and once again, this is science and evolution, we thought that eyes were a major entry. The major entry is through the nose and through the mouth. And that's why wearing masks is really the important thing. Eyeglasses on a secondary basis. But if you're working close with people, like in a doctor's office, certainly in a dentist's office, wearing that shield really does make a difference because it also is protecting your eyes. But more importantly, it's protecting your hand from actually going into your nose, your mouth, or your eyes when you may have the coronavirus on it. So eyeglasses are very secondary to everything else, and regular eyeglasses will protect you. If you're on an airplane wearing eyeglasses, no matter what they are, it's probably going to give you a little extra protection, but the mask is far more important.
All right, let's go to Terry in Verona. Hi, Terry. What's your question?
Yes, my question is, I wanted to know if facial hair, whether it be a beard or mustache, increases my risk of getting the virus.
I don't think it increases your risk at all. The issue with facial hair is if you're a healthcare provider and you're actually wearing a mask in surgery, facial hair, a beard can be a problem. And there are a number of healthcare providers that basically have shaved their beards because when they're in surgery, they have problems getting the tight seal that they have to do to protect themselves from somebody who they may be doing a surgery on, or if you're a pulmonologist, somebody who's possibly going to get infected themselves. But a regular facial hair should not be an impediment or not be an increased risk at all.
You're talking about the masks, creating a seal with the mask.
Right, with masks.
All right. Let's go to Cheryl now in Marshall. Hi, Cheryl. What's your question?
Hi. I have a question about Redbox movies. Is it safe to get them, or when people return them, are they infecting the whole box?
We used to think, at least initially, that surfaces were really very important. They can have coronavirus, but they're secondarily important. I think if you're concerned, wear gloves when you take the DVD out of the box, and take a wipe, like a Lysol wipe, and just wipe it, or take an alcohol wipe of some sort and wipe it when you get it out of the box, and then get rid of get rid of the gloves and the wipes, and you'll be okay. I have no idea if it infects the box. Once again, I don't think there's been any study on it, so I'm not really sure.
All right, let's go to Renee in Madison. Hi, Renee. What's your question?
Renee, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Go ahead.
I was just wondering to get a flu shot. Is this too early to get a flu shot?
No, it's the perfect time to get a flu shot. It's a great time to go to get a flu shot. Either your doctor's office or go to your local pharmacy. They all give flu shots. So easy to get from your local pharmacy. You don't have to make an appointment. You don't have to go into the doctor's office. Get that flu shot today.
All right, let's go to Stacy in Beloit. Hi, Stacy. What's your question?
Hi. I was told that the guidelines for quarantine had changed a little bit. I was told that you only have to quarantine if you were exposed to someone in direct contact for 15 minutes.
Well, it turns out that if you're in contact with them for 15 minutes, you are at a higher risk. But when you want to go to the guidelines, the best thing to do is Google cdc.gov guidelines for quarantine and look at it. They change all the time. But right now, we know that 15 minutes puts you at the highest risk. But once again, putting you at the higher risk doesn't mean that you're risk-free if you're not. In other words, 15 minutes might put you at a high risk, but just passing somebody, if you go to a convenience store without a mask, you can still get COVID. So the 15-minute is not an absolute number. It's an approximate number, puts you at the highest risk.
And in fact, today, the CDC modified that guidance. They said it's not 15 consecutive minutes. It's 15 minutes in a 24-hour period.
Oh, you see, so it's just what I said. They're continuously updating the guidelines based on science, not on politics.
And they're talking about 14 days, now 10 days, maybe 7 days. So yeah, it's all in flux.
Follow the CDC. These people know what they're doing.
And wear a mask.
And wear masks.
Zorba,
great to see you. Thank you for your time today.
We'll see you next week. We'll have a final check of your forecast coming up.
Attention, fellow seniors. This election will determine your Medicare benefits. Under President Trump, Medicare premiums in Wisconsin have gone down 21%. But with the Biden-Harris health care plan, Medicare will change. Private insurance eliminated. Hospitals closed. You could even lose your doctor. Protect your Medicare coverage. Vote for President Trump. Learn more at seniorsbeware.com.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Where can a healthier heart lead you? For people with heart failure taking Entresto, it may lead to a world of possibilities. Entresto helps people stay alive and out of the hospital. Don't take Entresto if pregnant. It can cause harm or death to an unborn baby. Don't take Entresto with an ACE inhibitor or aliskiren, or if you've had angioedema with an ACE or ARB. The most serious side effects are angioedema, low blood pressure, kidney problems, or high blood potassium. Ask your doctor about Entresto.
It's no secret, Robertson is Wisconsin's aesthetic leader. But with results this natural, patients can keep it a secret if they want. Our secret to reducing stubborn body fat? Cool Sculpting. Book a free consultation to learn how Cool Sculpting is different at Robertson.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
4 years ago, Donald Trump asked Black America a simple question.
What do you have to lose?
Since then, we've seen a rise in racial violence and white supremacy, an increase in poverty while giving tax cuts to the rich. 200,000 dead from COVID. 1 in 5 are Black. We've lost our jobs, our businesses, our dignity, and even our lives. And he dares to ask,
what the hell do you have to lose?
Damn near everything.
Friday morning, we're going to introduce you to a new member of our morning team.
And it is Badgers game day, but things looking a lot different this time around. What local officials are hoping people keep in mind before gathering for the game.
Join News 3 now October 24th for the Komen virtual More Than Pink Walk.
Register, raise funds, and walk where you are.
Bring us closer to a world without breast cancer. Step out for the Komen virtual More Than Pink Walk.
We are still expecting a line of thunderstorms to develop later on this evening between 6 and 8 o'clock. Those are going to be pushing to the east through the rest of this evening and into the early portion of tonight. Eventually, all the showers and storms will kick out of the area by Friday morning, keeping the clouds in place and a lot colder for your Friday. High of only 44 degrees and staying pretty chilly as we go through the weekend. Maybe some rain or snow on Sunday and Monday.
Here it comes. All right. Thank you, Aaron. Tomorrow here on Live Before, we'll preview the Wisconsin Badgers football home opener.
And Michael Bruno goes behind the screens to preview a paranormal Halloween e-venture at the Overture Center. That's coming up tomorrow on Live at 4.